President Rodrigo Duterte will place Metro Manila on lockdown for at least 30 days to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus in the Philippines.
For Manila, may ayaw namin gamitin yan, pero kasi takot kayo sabihin lockdown. But it's a lockdown. There is no struggle of power here. Walang away dito, walang gera. It's just a matter of protecting and defending you from COVID-19.
He also raises Code Red Sub-Level 2 Thursday, March 12, marking the first massive lockdown in the country in recent history. Duterte's order is based on the resolution of the Interagency Task Force on the outbreak. The president also announces class suspension for all levels in Metro Manila until April 12. Work for the executive branch of the government is also suspended, but skeletal staffing can be implemented to ensure government work will continue. Land, domestic air, and domestic sea travel to and from Metro Manila will also be suspended from March 15 until April 14. The president also talks about localized community quarantine, giving guidelines when to impose barangay, municipality, or province-wide quarantines. Duterte also clarifies travelers from countries with confirmed coronavirus cases will be banned from entering the Philippines, but Filipino citizens, their dependents, permanent Philippine residents, and diplomats will be allowed entry. He also thanks Chinese President Xi Jinping in his address, saying he knows China will help the Philippines amid the crisis. The health department confirms 3 new cases of the novel coronavirus Thursday, bringing the total number of patients who tested positive to 52. A 67-year-old Filipina, the country's 35th case of the novel coronavirus, dies Wednesday, March 11. The health department says the woman had no travel history outside the Philippines and was confined at the Manila Doctors Hospital in Manila. The Senate is on lockdown starting Thursday, March 12, after a resource person in a March 5 hearing tested positive for COVID-19. Senate President Tito Soto says the Senate will be disinfected and CCTV cameras will be checked to monitor the interactions with a COVID-19 positive resource person. 11 senators go into self-quarantine as a result. Meanwhile, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte also goes on self-quarantine as precautionary measure after meeting Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Many cabinet members of President Duterte also undergo self-quarantine. They are Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade, Public Works and Highways Secretary Mark Villar, Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, and Education Secretary Leonor Briones. Meanwhile, the Presidential Security Group says President Duterte's foreign trips will be suspended, especially to countries where there are confirmed cases of COVID-19, as per recommendation from the Health Department. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno also places himself in quarantine at the Manila City Hall after an official trip to London. Meanwhile, the headquarters of the Asian Development Bank or ADB at Ortigas Center in Mandaluyong City is closed Thursday, March 12, after a visitor tested positive for the novel coronavirus. The World Health Organization now calls the new coronavirus outbreak a pandemic, meaning it's spreading in several regions through local transmission. WHO says the global spread and severity of the illness was due to alarming levels of inaction. There are now 125,200 cases in more than 100 countries around the world, with 4,600 deaths. Meanwhile, actor Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson say they tested positive for the coronavirus. The couple are in Australia to shoot a film. Hanks is the first celebrity to reveal his diagnosis to the public. He is 63 years old. Hanks writes on Instagram, "We Hankses will be tested, observed, and isolated for as long as public health and safety requires. We'll keep the world posted and updated." Investors want out of the stock market, triggering a 10% fall in the Philippine Stock Exchange Index amid fears of the economic impact of the coronavirus crisis. This triggered the circuit breaker on Thursday, March 12. The circuit breaker is the 15-minute trading halt for investors to compose themselves. This is only the second time the circuit breaker was used. The first instance was on October 27, 2008, during the global financial crisis. The PSEi eventually closed at 5,736 on Thursday, down by 9.7%. This is also the lowest since December 2012. Meanwhile, the Department of Trade and Industry imposes a nationwide price freeze on basic necessities Thursday. Basic goods include canned fish and other marine products, locally manufactured instant noodles, bottled water, bread, processed milk, coffee, candles, laundry soap and detergent, and salt. Prices of agricultural goods like rice, cooking oil, eggs, meat, milk, fruits and vegetables, essential drugs, and liquefied petroleum gas or LPG and kerosene will also be monitored. In Hollywood, disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein is sentenced to 23 years in prison for rape and sexual assault in a landmark case. A New York judge gives Weinstein a heavy sentence, close to the maximum 29 years allowed. Allegations against the once powerful 67-year-old ignited the hashtag MeToo movement, making him a pariah and ending his career. Weinstein once had a personal fortune estimated at $150 million. The Weinstein Company declared bankruptcy in March 2018 under an avalanche of lawsuits. Nearly 90 women, including Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Jessica Mann, and Mimi Halei, came forward to talk about Weinstein's 40 years of vile, predatory behavior. Weinstein is expected to be incarcerated outside New York City and will likely be taken to Los Angeles, where he faces other sex crimes charges. COVID-19 test kit developed by scientists from the University of the Philippines may be rolled out Monday, March 16. The test kit is capable of fast detection of the novel coronavirus in samples taken from patients. Results can be ready in 2 hours. It will be priced at 1,320 pesos, 6 times cheaper than its foreign counterpart, which is around 8,500 pesos. Because of this, hashtag SalamatUP trends on Twitter, as Filipinos online showed appreciation for UP for developing the test kits. At Dr. Sam Kang writes, "This is why the government must invest and give priority to research, science, and health. Salute to all researchers and scientists." Paulo Liversi Dayon on Twitter meanwhile appreciates the effort of the scientists even though UP is demonized as enemies of the country. The Food and Drug Administration approved the test kit by the University of the Philippines National Institute of Health Tuesday, March 10.